Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 2022 Avionte and Sense Roadmap webinar. We're going to have a very fun hour or so here. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time and participation. There's just a few things I'd like to go over before we get started. Again, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We would love to engage and answer questions, so please feel free to put them in the Q&A at any time, and we will be sure to get them answered. This will be recorded and distributed, so if you miss something, don't worry about it. And another little fun thing we're going to do is we're going to have 5 trivia questions today, and each one is a chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card. So please put your answers in the chat when I ask them, and I will announce what the previous answer was when we get to the next question. Basically the first correct answer in the chat will be the winner, and we will announce it shortly after the webinar concludes. My name is Cristina Krener, and I'm a product marketing manager here at Sense. And I'm delighted to be able to join you all today. And that being said, I'm going to introduce Justine Lee, who's a lead product manager here at Sense.
Hi, everyone. I'm Justine. I'm the product manager for Sense Messaging. And I'll hand it over to Mithun.
Hello there. My name is Mithun Gunalan. I'm a director of product here at Sense, and I am the product manager for our chatbot, meetings, and our new Discover product. Pass it over to Alex.
Everyone, nice to meet you. One of the co-founders of Sense, running the product team. Great to see lots of familiar names today, and thank you for joining.
You would think after like 2 years of the pandemic, I would find a way to easily navigate the mute button, but here we are. Hi, everyone. My name is Wendy. I'm part of the product marketing team at Sense as well. Excited to have everyone. Thanks for joining. Alex, you want to take it away?
Absolutely. So for those of you who don't know Sense well, or who want to get the kind of latest and greatest here, we are a recruitment automation and engagement platform. Our mission is to partner with staffing companies like yourself to derive more growth, retention, and save you time. We've been in the market with staffing for a while now. We have over 600 customers, including 6 out of the top 10 by size staffing firms. And also we work with something that we track carefully with 65 of the top 186 staffing companies on the list. Our team is growing very fast. Now we've more than doubled in the past year, driven by customer growth and fundraising. We've raised over $90 million to build the platform, and we're backed by some really kind of titan VCs in the market. So really looking forward today to jumping in and kind of showing you guys what's coming up here.
All right, awesome. Okay, great. So it just might sound like a broken record at this point, but we're really in a time where the pandemic has fundamentally changed the global workforce. And the war for talent is really as fierce as ever. And you're seeing a lot of staffing companies, a lot of organizations just really fighting for every kind of edge that they can get, competitive edge. Yet even with the rise of candidate expectations, we see that a lot of companies are still struggling to match that candidate expectation. So it's really more important now than ever to create that delightful candidate experience and make them fall in love with you, and create like a very lasting and appreciating relationship with your talent, and subsequently making a huge impact on your hiring goals in 2022 and beyond. So today we'll be taking some time to talk about the trends that we're seeing in the industry and some exciting things that are coming up on the Sense roadmap. So I'm going to insert my corny joke here, but what's a road trip without a playlist? If anybody remembers like the CDs, that was definitely me burning the mixtapes. So we have this candidate playlist and we'll throw in some fun trivia as Cristina mentioned. But the first one here is keeping in sync. We'll do a quick touch base on like the newly released data syncs, as well as some of the data syncs that are coming soon. So these really unlock the powerful personalized automation within Sense. So we'll cover some of those. Next one, we'll talk about touching on the problems of job matching solutions of today, as well as how some of the top solutions are tackling this problem at scale. Third hit song is Gone Missing, talking about qualified candidates sending in applications only to never hear back, talking about the ATS black hole problem. No one likes to get ghosted, so we'll talk about how to easily engage 100% of your candidates and avoid having some of those slip through the cracks. Fourth item that we'll touch on is So Complicated. Love my little shout out to Avril Lavigne there. But we'll talk about the lengthy and complex job applications spiking your drop-offs. We'll talk about how you can improve this first major interaction that a candidate has with your agency and how to really accelerate the hiring funnel that way. Fifth one, we'll talk about always the front runner, talking about the secret to getting the top talent to pick you over the competition. And then the last one on here is it's personal and business. How can personalization alone fix flagging candidate engagement? We'll review some of the better ways to reach candidates during this time when personalization is more than just populating a name. All right, so without further ado, we'll talk about the first one. So Alex, can you talk to us a little bit about our latest data sync releases?
Absolutely. Thank you, Wendy. So yeah, so Avionte is one of our really, tier one core, partners of Sense. And as such, we are always, continuing to, partner with their team to add more data sync capability between the, platforms. So we have some exciting ones that have recently, come up, and then some exciting ones that Sense and the Avionte team are working to, partner on. So these are some that we've recently released. For those of you who are on the Sense platform currently, you can reach out to your customer success team to learn how to use them more. One is able, and this one is big, the web applicant on the job order, so we can kind of capture candidates coming in, reach out to them with a chatbot or something else. We have some new reference data such as the start and the final end date, as well as the talent, company, and contacts tags are now available to create audiences, and then also flags on the talent record. So these are a few things that are recently launched that you may not be using yet. And then coming up, a couple things that we're partnering to get out. One is pipeline data. I know that the pipeline feature is one that many of you use and would like to use more within Sense. A new date around the expiration date, and then as well, we're looking at both candidate and contact creation. So when you're using our chatbots either on your website or as a text to apply or somewhere else, you'll be able to make sure that those candidates and contacts get created right in your system. And so there's definitely more to come here, but we're looking forward to again phase out soon. And yes, we wanted to begin with one that we know that many people are, very excited for. I've seen that lots of, the kind of customers on this call today are, running tons of journeys, dozens to hundreds, and we're making it kind of better and faster to keep those, tidy with folders and just make your day-to-day life better on Sense.
Cristina, I think we're ready for the first trivia question.
Okay, great. So how many staffing firms in the US are on SIA's top list, which is over $100 million in revenue? So how many people are on the top list? Submit your answers.
All right. What do we say? We give people 5 more seconds and then we'll move on.
Yeah. Another filtering in.
Too many. I love
Too many.
it.
I like that.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So we'll go on to the next section and then Cristina will reveal the right answer before the next trivia question. All right. So next section, made for each other. Alex, we talk a lot about job matching, and job matching has become kind of a trendy new piece of technology, but we're also seeing that sometimes it doesn't quite add up to what we are expecting. Can you talk to us a little bit about like current solutions and offer some of the pitfalls that we're seeing in kind of existing solutions today?
Absolutely. Thanks, Wendy. So yeah, so we are really excited to add and begin to release now our Sense job matching solution, which is called Sense Discover. So when we talked to many of you, kind of looked at what was out in the market, I think kind of a big gap that we saw was really around like 2 areas here. One is job matching to really be used constantly, like every day during the day, or even at night, needs to be really connected to your automation system. So we found that job matching is the type of technology that works the best when it's really at scale, and just kind of running in the background, always reaching out to candidates and matching them to the best job. And this second thing that we thought, thought a lot about here is just sort of like, what are those, job matching criteria that we should work on with candidates, and just like, how does job matching work with all of your engagement tools like Sense Engage or chatbot and messaging too? And something that we found is that a lot of the current job matching solutions are really dependent on the resume, and the resume is a great place to begin, but as all of us here know, not all candidates have a resume. It might not be their most recent one. It might not be sitting there on their phone when they're texting you to get their job going. So we thought a lot about sort of what are those other signals that we can use, like in a chatbot conversation, talking to candidates, finding out more of their background, and order to really get their most recent sort of data, and just make sure that they're putting their best foot forward. So we've really tailored this to kind of work with Sense tools and kind of work with the way and the speed that Sense candidates are moving today. So Sense Discover is actually out now. It's out with our kind of first set of customers, and if you're interested in reviewing it and getting on board, getting it turned on, you can send us a note at discover@sensehq.com. And the other thing with job matching, if you just go to the next slide, is there are just so many places that this can be helpful. So one that you saw on the last slide was around that redeployment moment, when a candidate is like reaching the end of their current job and kind of thinking about where they're going to go next. And the other place is really around this concept of the silver medalist, so kind of going through your database, looking at people who might not quite have made the cut for that last job, but might be an awesome candidate for a job that you have now. So these are a couple of the kind of places that we're seeing customers be successful.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. All right, Cristina, I think we're up next for our next trivia. Everybody get ready on your keyboard.
Okay, so the answer to the previous question was 186 made the SIA top list. So That
I
was a
do
tough.
love how many people were guessing how many number we have as well. So there's a lot of right answers with that, but I love the participation as well.
Yes, there was a lot. It was awesome. So
right,
let's
next
get to
one.
the next question. What was Avionte's original name? Okay, let's
Got
get
a
your
couple
answer.
answers here.
One.
Skynet, I love it. I will say Christina and I had a fun time figuring out how to pronounce it.
Yes, we will not, and we also will not be sticklers about the spelling.
Alex Rosen
Rosen.
LLC, I love it.
I like that. I like that.
Take it.
Awesome. Well, we'll get
Some internal discussion. Okay.
All right, we will move forward. All right, the
Avionte.
next section here is gone missing. So like I mentioned, no one likes getting ghosted. I think both for recruiters and for candidates as well. I think we see it from both sides of the table. But for candidates, there was actually a recent study that showed that the #1 frustration for applicants is that they didn't hear back from their employers. In fact, 75% of job seekers reported that they didn't hear back from their employers after submitting an application. And this can honestly just be really frustrating and really difficult to do, engaging 100% of all your applicants, especially if you don't have the right technology in place. So with this, I am incredibly excited to have Justine talk us through some of the exciting things that you're working on the messaging side to help recruiters reach candidates better and faster.
Cool. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, so with Sense messaging, recruiters are often able to more than halve their response times. We have a Chrome extension that can pop open on any browser window for easy access, as well as iOS and Android apps for when you're on the go doing site visits and not at your computer. And then on the next slide, with Sense messaging, our core thesis is that relationships are continuous. Our focus is helping recruiters build cohesive narratives with their candidates that transforms and transitions seamlessly across multiple channels and between powerful custom automation and personal touch points. So referencing emails is a great way to build trust with candidates and results in much higher SMS response rates. For example, starting a conversation with, "Hey, Brad, just sent you an email with more information about this job. Did you get it?" Sense messaging helps you achieve this holistic approach with our conversation context feature, which displays any other touch points that a candidate has received through Sense so that you can reference them in conversation. And this allows recruiters to live in one single product instead of having to context switch between several different interfaces, which in turn creates a more cohesive candidate experience while reducing response times and directly impacting your time to hire. And I'll hand it off to Alex.
This year is what we're kind of calling at our company Sense, Engage, and Journeys 2.0. So we are really kind of reimagining and redesigning the core platform of Sense to make it a lot more sort of powerful, give you more targeting, and let you kind of build those kinds of journeys that you may want to but you can't today. So we are really looking at a real kind of redesign here of the journey builder, which is what you're seeing here, with more sort of logic branching and kind of drag and drop capability. And then also on the next slide, we're also looking at kind of redesigning as part of this the audience builder. So we want to kind of give you more sort of capability to target the audiences that you're reaching out to with more kinds of rule sets, and be able to use those to use those across your journeys. So this is really a core focus of the team now, and something that you'll begin to see rolling out soon.
All right, awesome. Cristina, you ready?
Oh, yes. So the answer to the last question, what was Avionte's original name? The answer is Ondale. Ondale sounds like a whimsical city in a Disney movie, if you ask me sometimes, but that is the answer. And we are going to move on to the next question. I love it. What percentage of the US non-farm workforce does the staffing industry employ?
F1.
Ooh, we're getting great answers.
Give it another. Okay, thanks everyone.
All right. Avril, let's go. So complicated. So we're going to talk a little bit about the application process here. And I actually want to challenge everybody who's on the call. How many of you have actually gone through your application process? You don't have to say it in chat, but just think to yourself, when's the last time you went through your application process? And how many minutes did it take you to go through that entire process? And the reason why I'm challenging you on this is because every question that you're asking is adding friction to the funnel. You're giving an opportunity for candidates to drop. So with that, you really have to be strategic about maximizing your efforts and capturing candidates from all the efforts that you're doing, whether they're online or offline. So actually, I'm going to bring on Mithun to this part of the webinar. And we've released a couple like conversational AI solutions. So I want to talk through like the latest solution that we've worked on to really help recruiters source candidates better and kind of decomplicate or uncomplicate the application process.
Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, so the sourcing chatbot is designed to ever present and source candidates 24/7, 365 days, and something that can be available in whichever channel or medium that your candidates are engaging you in. Right, some candidates prefer to come to your website. Some of them prefer to go to the job board. Some of them come to you would like you to come to them in text. So what we have done is we built the sourcing chatbot that could be a single chatbot that you build and can be deployed in multiple channels, namely the website where it can be integrated into your career site, or it could be deployed as like a text to apply app, right? Or it could be added as a QR code in your marketing collateral or on your job board to say, your auto replies to say, whenever somebody applies, hey, thanks for application, please continue the process here, and have them engage with the chatbot so that, your candidates are able to connect with these chatbots, and you can get filtered candidates back to you without any added layers of complexity, right? So, whenever we talk about sourcing chatbots, most of you think straight away a website chatbot, which is still a very good channel. But depending on the industry you are in, we've seen a lot of customers have success using other channels like text to apply. Like in this example that you see in front of you, you can have advertise to candidates, text, apply to 736. And then once they start that application process, you can connect with the candidate, ask them a set of questions, maybe even screen them and schedule them to talk to a recruiter all in one go. And this process usually takes less than 5 minutes, right? So that is a huge differentiator when it comes to engaging candidates. And instead of having them take days to get in front of a recruiter, you could do this in minutes, and you can do this at scale, so that you don't only reach out to 20% of the candidates that show interest, but instead you're reaching out to 100% of the candidates, and your recruiters only talk to the candidates that have gone through all of your screening questions, right? So this product is currently already available. So if you're an existing Sense customer, and if you're an existing chatbot customer, for existing chatbot customers, you already have access to inbound, so talk to your CSMs, and we can quickly turn this on for you. But if you're a Sense customer, or you would like to learn more about our chatbot, please reach out to our sales team, or also your CSMs, and we can certainly talk through the sourcing chatbots with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mithun. And one thing I would like to add here, just from like a marketing perspective, is your agencies are always kind of maximizing every opportunity that you are for marketing your open positions, right? So you have to think about all the real estate that's available to you. You have your storefronts, you have your website, you have hiring events, you have all these different, events and kind of campaigns that you're running. And the best thing that you can do is really maximize the way that candidates can get into your funnel. Because I see a lot of times where, you do and you invest so much time and money and efforts around, having a hiring event, and how do you capture that candidate information? How do you make sure that your recruiters are able to easily follow up with them? You're just hoping that they make it back to your website, or hoping that they submit an application, or collecting paper applications, and you're just adding so much friction to that funnel. And ways to really help to couple that is to really focus on like the things that you need to know in order to contact that candidate, and really make sure that you're able to re-engage with them. And also just make it simpler and mobile friendly. I think that's a huge plus, especially for a lot of people who aren't sitting in front of their computers every day. So that's just like from a marketing spin. Awesome. All right. I think we are ready for our, we're actually going to move on to the next section, and then we'll do trivia. Next section here is talking about always being the front runner. So as we mentioned in the beginning part of the webinar, when we're talking about our playlist, it is really competitive in the market right now. And it's potentially optimistic for you to think that you are the only staffing company that a candidate is working for. So how do you really focus on creating a better experience and helping your recruiters provide a better candidate experience? So we'll talk a little bit about reducing that time that they're spending on tedious tasks, and allowing them to really spend that time on nurturing them, right? Bringing that personalization beyond just, hi Alex or hi Cristina, but really taking the time to help recruiters focus on that candidate and being able to leverage personalization at scale. So while automated workflows is something that we've really built the foundation of our company on, we also have some new items in the roadmap that are going to help reduce recruiter fatigue, and really help them spend less time on tedious tasks, messages, and help support your talent with 24/7 support. So Justine and then Mithun, I'll let you take it away.
So our templates feature, accessible both on web and mobile, makes it super easy to reply to candidates with additional information about a particular job, or send a check-in survey with just a few taps. Scheduling meetings also notoriously takes a lot of tedious back and forth, and we've drastically simplified this for our users with our meetings feature, where candidates can easily see a recruiter's availability and schedule time, cutting out all the superfluous texting it used to take to get schedules coordinated. And I'm going to hand it over to Mithun to talk about FAQ bots.
Thanks, Justine. The next feature that we're coming out with, it's a massive feature for us that we're working on right now, is the FAQ bots. So the idea that this feature, the problem that this feature is designed to solve, is to answer contextual questions from your candidates at the time when they have those questions, so that we can keep the candidates moving through your hiring funnel with the least amount of drop-offs. So for example, if the candidate is asking, how much does this job pay, because they're going through a screening conversation with the chatbot, the bot could then pick up the answer from your ATS to say, here's how much this job pays. It's basically a very simple pay rate question that a bot should be able to answer. And also similar questions like, what should I wear for an interview, or what is your PTO policy, or any number of questions that are typically easily answered is what we're going to start offering with our chatbots. And with these, we will come out with a preset list of questions, most commonly used asked FAQs. And what it'll also provide is, you as a customer, you will have the ability to control the kind of response you want to offer to your candidate. So you can pick up the exact field you want to use in answering, for example, a pay rate question, but you can also change the text of the response so that it sounds like it is from your company and not Sense. So you will have that flexibility. And you will also have access to this master list of FAQs that we offer. You can turn on and off the questions that you want to keep on and off. And also you can suggest additional questions to us and we can put that into our roadmap and build those for you.
Great, awesome. All right, Cristina, on to our next trivia. Everybody get ready.
Yes, we already know. So the answer to the previous question was 2%. So I definitely think that we had some correct answers in there. So 2%.
All right, awesome. And here's our next question.
Approximately how many staffing companies are there in the United States? I'm excited to see what people say.
Too many.
5.5.
Oh my gosh.
Might seem like that.
Right.
Love it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, keep them coming. These are great. Thanks, everyone.
Got some great answers in there. I particularly like the 5.5 million personally, but all right. Moving on to our next section. It's personal and business. Answering the question of can personalization alone fix flagging candidate engagement? So it's arguably one of the most difficult times to reach people. Like there's so many distractions going on. There's newly found commitments, and there's also this haze of being an always on mentality. And I'm sure you all in the audience can relate to this as well, where there seems to be a really thinning line between work and home and your personal life and all of that. So when you're able to put yourself in the candidate's shoes, you can realize that, you know, personalized engagement is really not enough. In fact, it's really table stakes at this point. They want to know that you are listening to them, that you're understanding their preferences, because that all matters in terms of providing like this consumer-like experience and consistently being able to prove on your processes and your talent engagement. So Justine, I'm going to have you back on and specifically talk about our favorite subject on DLC and just talking about, you know, with the texting space adjusting to new regulations, can you talk about like the technology that we're actually leveraging to help recruiters improve their messaging and kind of break through in this time where candidates are just getting inundated?
Well, so with 10DLC, the margin of error when it comes to staying compliant is much smaller. Carriers now have your business identity and registration information and will be able to enforce their policies in ways they previously could not due to or prior to the 10DLC rollout. To help users adapt to these changes, we're introducing two new features. The first are content warning banners. We will automatically detect whether your message violates any best practices or guidelines and suggest how you can edit your message. Second, we will introduce a content scoring feature. This feature uses AI to compare your message to historical delivery error data to tell you how similar your message is to other messages that have triggered carrier filtering. This will give you a good sense of whether your content is risky to send and provide recommendations on how to reduce that risk. These features will also help keep your numbers and businesses safe from carrier filtering, carrier bans, and punitive fines. Anything back to Cristina for trivia?
Yep, back to Cristina for trivia.
Okay, everyone. So given the answers, this is, I'm excited to say this, there are about 25,000 staffing companies in the United States, although I'm more into the 5.5 million personally. 25,000.
All right, awesome. And I think this actually might be our last trivia question. We'll
Yes.
get on to that one.
Okay. How many mutual customers do Avionte and Sense have? Mutual customers.
Jaw drop.
Okay,
Ryan Williams, you're my
5.5 million.
favorite.
I hope you guys don't say too many.
100%. I want to get there for sure. All right. Well,
Okay.
Cristina, we'll wait for the final answer later on, but we'll jump into our quick bonus section here, because we always need a little encore. But before we get into this section, I also just wanted to give a plug for any questions that you guys might have. Please feel free to put them in the Q&A. You have Alex here, Mithun, and Justine, all really amazing leaders of our product team. So take this opportunity to grill them and ask all the hard questions. Leave no mercy. And we will head over. I'm sure they love me right now. Awesome. Well, Mithun, I'll actually let you kind of take off on this one, but let's talk about how we can further like reduce the friction in the funnel by setting up dates.
Yeah. Thanks, Wendy. Often, there's some of the, places where we can save candidates and our customers the most amount of time is with, simple automations like, scheduling, right? It's a key thing. You pretty much do it with almost every single candidate. And, it is a process that is often repeated over and over on any given day. And, for the traditional scheduling, if you're trying to do it over the phone, it takes like a handful of minutes to try and figure out a time. Both the host and the attendee need to be on the phone to, figure out a time that works for the both parties. Or if you're trying to do this over email, which is often the case, it requires at least 3 emails back and forth trying to figure out a time that works for everybody. Right. So instead, what we have offered is this meetings product, which can be integrated with our chatbot and also messaging products. So if your recruiters are talking to candidates, they could just, from meetings, send a link that the candidate can click on, find a time that works for them. And we've also tied this product very tightly with our chatbot product. So in a chatbot conversation, if you're screening somebody, you can go through the screening questions. And if they pass all of the knockout questions, then you can offer them a scheduler to schedule time with the recruiter. And on the back end, there is a lot of complexity when it comes to scheduling, but we have nicely wrapped all of that in a very easy to use user interface. Like, for example, if you have 10 recruiters working on a handful of recs for the same client, and it doesn't matter to you which recruiter the candidate speaks to, you can put them on a round robin scheduler, where we would look to see which one of those 10 recruiters is available at any given point and schedule time with that recruiter. And you could do this via like the earliest available time, so it's candidate friendly. Or if you wanted to balance load across all of your recruiters, you can choose load balancing, which we call optimize for assignment, where we could just immediately check to see who has gotten how many events and then assign it to the person that has the lowest number of interviews assigned to them. And this product again is already available. It can be used with our chatbot messaging. Like, you could also take this link and use it just as your own personal scheduler with the people, that stakeholders that you work with. And this is proven to reduce the amount of time recruiters spend just scheduling interviews with candidates.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I did want to ask a couple questions, and then we have one more slide, and then we'll answer the other questions that flow through as well. So keep them coming. The first question in the chat was actually, let's see here. It was from Kara. And the question was, do we have any plans to develop apps for Play Store in iOS? Justine, I think you answered that in chat, but if you want to hop on and just give a verbal, that'd be great.
Yeah, we have an iOS and Android app for Sense messaging.
And that is currently available.
Yes.
Awesome. And then the next question here, which is actually a perfect layup for our next slide, is how close are we to finishing our integration with Avionte for our referrals product? Alex? I promise I did not write that question.
Thank you. So yeah, so this is coming up too. So we are looking to bring our referrals per product to a bowl towards the middle of this year. So for those of you who don't know about our referral module, this is a kind of full featured referral automation feature, so we can gather referrals, track them, follow up, do payouts. So this is something that you can actually use separately, currently, but we are looking to kind of make it fully synced in to a Bold soon also.
Awesome. So we had a whole slew of questions come in. So thank you, everyone. We'll take questions and answers. Also, I am going to link out a poll really quick to everyone. If you are interested in just learning more about any of the content that was presented today, please feel free to say yes, and we'll be in touch shortly just to make sure that you get any follow-up questions answered. But with that, I will go ahead and start grilling our panelists. So this question comes from Nicholas. Would you be able to filter recruiters by spoken languages to ensure candidates aren't booking a call with someone they can't communicate with? Mithun, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've been thinking how we could do this. It may be something that we have to think about it a little bit more and come back, whether in the suite of products that we offer, if there is a way to look at, well, actually, let me take a step back. If you're trying to do this within chatbot, there is a way, right? You could create a bilingual group, and you could create an English-only group. And then if you can ask a candidate which language they prefer. And if they say, let's say Spanish, then you can send the meeting invite to a bilingual group. And that bilingual group can be composed of everybody that speaks both Spanish and English in the US. So that way it is possible. But if you're using straight the link, right, you'll be able to choose the link, but it really depends on the construction of the group. So it is doable. But it also, I would love to, I think it was Nicholas that asked the question, talk more with you, Nicholas, about this and try to understand your use case. So, we can maybe come out with better solutions.
Awesome. Here's another question for you, Mithun, about scheduling sync. Does the scheduling sync with the Avionte dashboard calendar or only Outlook?
So right now, scheduler syncs with your calendar software. So if you use Office 365, Google, Yahoo, AOL, if anybody still uses it, we do integrate with those calendar software. There is not an integration with Avionte, but it is on our roadmap to put events onto our ATS partners' calendars. We don't have a timeline today.
I had to let an unfiltered chuckle come through with AOL. Okay, next question was from Nicole. Is the meetings product only available if you're using chatbot? Justine actually answered this in chat, but it actually can be used with or without chatbot. And then some questions that came in through the Q&A. Alex, I'll let you answer this one out loud as well. For meetings, are more advanced data analytics coming soon? Also, the ability to set company-wide holidays to block interviews would be nice.
Absolutely. So actually, we do have our next version of meetings dashboard coming out soon. It's going to enter testing soon. And I think that I commented on this for whoever asked if you want to ping Mithun on this. We would love to get kind of what you're looking for here, and see what we can do. And sorry, what was the second part of that? Blocking
holidays, company-wide holidays.
Got it. Yeah, good one too. I mean, you would need to currently block it off on calendars, but I see what you're trying to do there, and that might be something that we can solve also.
We could solve it, but if you're using this calendar as its own, your calendar software as its own, scheduling tool, which is what most people do, you might be better off blocking it on your calendar. Like at Sense, our HR puts time on our calendar, say this is a US holiday, and it is put on everybody's calendar as a full day event, so that we can all block off our calendars. That might be a quick and easy approach, but also might be something that would be scalable. But we would also love to add that functionality to our calendar if for some reason it's challenging on your side.
Awesome. And then we have a question here from Kayla. With the new tag audience features being available, will it be possible to send journeys in different languages without having to translate separately outside of Sense? So a lot of second language or other language questions today. Alex?
I mean, I'll take that one. Yeah, so I mean, definitely actually languages are on the chatbot roadmap in general this year. So, we would like to be able to recognize, common languages and then basically translate chatbot.
Great. And then one other question here. Are our meetings going to start syncing as activities in Avionte to provide visibility to other recruiters?
So that was the piece I was talking about where, integrating with the ATSs is on our roadmap. We plan to get there, but immediately there are other features that we feel we could provide more value immediately. But until then, it's only in your calendar software, not in Avionte.
Awesome. I think we answered all the questions that we have out there. If I didn't, please feel free to resend it in the Q&A function. We got a couple comments. The one thing I did forget to mention at the beginning was that, the main focus of today's webinar was really talking about the Sense roadmap and talking about the new functionality that we're building out to better support your hiring and your candidate experience goals for this year and beyond. Again, our questions and our emails are up there. So if you do have any further questions or comments or concerns or complaints, you can send to Alex. But for everything else, feel free to reach out. And I will go ahead and I think we can go ahead and end this meeting early and give everyone some time back. All right. Well, thanks everyone. And thank you to our panelists today as well. Oh,
I apologize, Wendy. I just do need to reveal the answer to the last trivia question. And it is 143 mutual customers between Avionte and Sense. 143.
Thank you, Cristina. I almost forgot that one.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you, panelists, for coming on, and thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.